first ceremony, ayahuasca ceremony ever.
Ever.
So we're doing this little interview afterwards. What's the time now? The ceremony was round about 6 hours ago, I would say. So let's cut to it. So first of all, please just share whatever comes to heart and mind that you would like to share, and then I will ask you a few questions as we go forward.
Okay. I want to say thank you so much for all of your teachings, your inspiration, all of your advice, over the past 3 months that I've gotten a chance to work with you, the consistent integrity that you've shown me through your care and preparation for this ceremony today. So thank you. And first of all, I want to say that your book, Ayahuasca Truth, really helped me to prepare for today so that I mentally could really get a grasp on what was going to happen, because I really didn't have much of a understanding of what ayahuasca ceremony was, only what you hear, which is a lot of different things, because every person has a different experience. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, sometimes it's fear, sometimes it's amazing, you don't know. So your book really helped me be able to process this information with the vibration of love as the new teacher, and bliss as the new teacher, and love as the new teacher. And also your advice for me, the reason why I wanted to do the ayahuasca is for health, because I contracted this parasite through a mosquito bite and has caused me
Called
leishmaniasis.
Very, very, very serious condition.
Yes, and I've been in immense amount of pain, very sick for over 3 years, and I was seeking a cure through the plant medicines because I do holistic medicine myself. And so I just wanted to say thank you, because also your advice to help me get over this leishmaniasis, it was to do the dry fasting, the pure fasting. The fastest way to purity is pure fasting.
One question, you mentioned you had good experience with medicines. Why did you choose to do ayahuasca now and then not before in your lifetime?
The ultimate reason was because I didn't feel comfortable with the people that were giving the ceremonies. I never met anyone that I felt like I could open up my soul with so truthfully, so
First time
vulnerably. Yes, and then the moment I met you, the moment I saw you, I knew that this was the person that I wanted to do the ceremonies with, that you were a spiritual teacher, that because you were introduced to me as a spiritual teacher, and I just knew. It was a resonance, it was a knowingness, it was just an automatic knowing. There was not even a second guess. It was just like, these are the people. And it's proven to me to be a magnificent difference in my health, in the way that I feel, in my energy, in my body, in my skin, and the level of health that I feel. The most important thing to me is the less amount of pain that I feel. I don't hardly have any pain anymore. And I can keep food down. Like, I'm not throwing up, I'm not having the traditional, flu symptoms, or whatever you want to call it, evacuations. But the dry fasting really helped me prepare for all of this. And now the ceremony, I guess from what I understand, people in the past have had really difficult times with their ayahuasca ceremonies. They have a lot of trauma that they need to process. And from what you've explained to me, that this was a very smooth ceremony for somebody's first ceremony.
Not just actually for someone's first ceremony. It's one of the most all-around joyous ayahuasca ceremonial experiences I've ever witnessed.
Yeah? How many have you witnessed?
It's a good question. Hundreds.
Wow. Whoa.
Hundreds. So it's of course when you're in ceremony, let's say in a large group of people, in the past, when I haven't been energetically guiding the ceremonies, I'm focusing on my energy, right? So I'm not potentially aware of whatever's experienced, which is different to now as a ceremony guide. However, so I was very aware of your process throughout the ceremony and how it unfolded, of course, during that guidance. However, especially considering your first ceremony, you basically wanted to dance.
Yes, I did.
For almost the whole ceremony.
It was hard for me to sit still because I was so full of love and gratitude.
And then when there was a period where they needed some deeper internal focus, what we were able to do collectively with the healing was took blissful healing to the next level. Yeah. Also with my experience.
Thank you for explaining that, because I don't really have much experience.
Yeah.
With these ceremonies,
Well, of course, exactly, and of course you've read the book, and there is a focus in the book about what happens with the hard stuff, and the whole goal of one of the main goals of LoveLight CommUnity is to aid people's spiritual transformation and growth and healing. However, to do it in the most blissful, loving, and light ways. And today was an enormous confirmation of everything that we're teaching, espousing, practicing through what we witnessed with you.
So revolutionizing the ayahuasca ceremonies, right?
Thank you. Yes, exactly. The book Ayahuasca Truth, Revolutionizing Ayahuasca for Ascension or for spiritual growth. And so it's just absolutely phenomenal to see the effect in you, and for you to talk about the relief that you felt.
Oh my gosh. Normally, I'm going to go Spanish. Normally, I feel fire all over my body, and if you were to look at pain on a scale from 1 to 10, every single morning when I wake up, I'm at a level 7 or 9, depending upon the day. I'm either waking up throwing up, I'm waking up with a migraine headache, where literally the frontal lobe of my head is like sticking out like an alien. Pictures. We have pictures. And today, I was just felt such relief. I felt a freshness. I felt a lightness. I felt a fluidity that I haven't felt in years today. And that I really wanted to dance. I just wanted to sing. I just wanted to celebrate. I just wanted to move and feel good, because it's been such a long time. Years. Over 3 years now. It was 3 years in November. So
since the onset of the leishmaniasis, the parasite, right? Yes.
And so I had the parasite in my body for so long. What happened is that they started, it got into my bloodstream, and then because it's in the bloodstream, then it got into my organs, and it started eating my organs. So eating my brain, eating my heart, eating my lungs, eating all of my internal organs, eating me from the inside out, literally. And when I thought I was having a heart attack, and I went and I found out through all these different series of tests and different doctors, that it wasn't a heart attack that I was having. I was actually having a seizure because of a parasitic eruption. So not only, I was thinking I was having a heart attack, which was bad enough, but then I found that I was having a parasitic eruption. That's even worse. So then I was dealing with the mental fact that I have parasites inside of me, literally eating me from the inside out. So then I had to reframe my thinking and not let that traumatize me even more. And so today, like seriously, I felt like, I don't know, I felt like liquid, I felt fluid, I felt light, I felt like I could fly, I felt like I could, I don't know, I felt happy, I felt relief, I felt healthy, I felt
alive.
Alive. I felt alive.
It's amazing. And so we, as you reminded me, we met around about 3 months ago. Yeah? And the beautiful thing is that the first time we met, you gifted me this token, which has been a bond for us, a bond of trust, love, light, truth, and trust. And you have trusted me with my guidance since then.
Yes.
Going as far as incorporating aspects of dry fasting, which many would choose not to do because it is very intense.
And I've been advised against it from so many other people.
Yeah, as I mentioned to you, from my experience, pure fasting, i.e. dry fasting, is the purest, is the fastest way to purity. Again, for a different discourse we go into what that means, but it's very effective, but it's also very arduous. Nevertheless, you wanted a fast path to transformation, to healing, to truth, love and light, and you trusted me. One of the most that anyone ever has on this journey so far. And so I'd love to hear in your own words, considering where you were 3 months ago and where you feel today. And obviously there's the whole year ahead, everything we're creating with LoveLight CommUnity going forward. But we've sown the seeds here today on the first day of the year, very important. Exactly, and our actions. However, yeah, if you reflect now, it's a perfect time to consider what has your transformation been so far in these 3 months.
Well, I've been seeking a teacher, and I was seeking through the bufo or the combo, and I had been advised through other teachers maybe the ayahuasca would help me because this cleans the blood, and we're in Mexico, so there's lots of shaman, there's lots of spiritual teachers, there's lots of people, but I never felt comfortable with anyone because I always follow my intuition. The very first thought, the very first feeling that I feel, that's the truth, and I never second guess it anymore because I've learned every single time I second guess it, something doesn't go right, and I'm like, dang, I wish I would have listened to myself. So literally, Jose from Felicidad, he told me that there was a spiritual teacher coming here and that he wanted to look at this place possibly to rent. And so I knew you were coming. So I was like, okay, cool. And so I helped prepare the place for you to come to see about renting it. And from the moment I saw you, my intuition said, this is the person. And then I knew I had received revelation that these ambers weren't for me a couple days before. That I heard Great Spirit and intro me, inside of me, say, you know, these are beautiful, and this is a beautiful crystal or crystallized light, but they're not for you. But I loved them, but I knew that they weren't for me. And then the moment I saw you, I'm like, they're his. And so this is the reason why I gave them to you, is because I had received guidance that they weren't for me. And then the moment I saw you, the intuition came into me. This is the teacher. This is the person that I need to work with. That I will receive healing through his teachings and his philosophies. And these are his. And so and then I can't even tell you how grateful I am for how much better I feel. Like I feel literally transformed. I feel like better than before. I feel better and more strong and more healthy now than I have before I got sick. How about that?
3 years ago. Wow. And yeah, I mean, it's fair to say that you've experienced, it's fair to say, quite a negative spiral of events in terms of life outlook as part of, you know, this illness, and then how things, you know, when we met. How do you feel now about the year ahead compared to, let's say, how you would have felt about 3 months ago?
Well, I was in such a level of pain, I just wanted to not be existing anymore. I just wanted the pain to go away. And after 3 years of level 7, level 9 pain of every single day, waking up, throwing up, vomiting, diarrhea, massive headaches where you think your head's going to explode, and I'm having brain aneurysms. I'm calling my son, telling him I don't think I'm going to live any longer, that I love him, and that I think that I'm going to die. Calling my family, telling them I think this is it because the headaches that I'm having.
Seizure type headaches.
Yeah,
right?
Seizures. Multiple seizures. That's why you told me to dry fast originally.
That was the original, yeah.
Yeah, I was having multiple seizures.
It got to that point.
It got to that point. And that was
your
your advice. And then literally I did it.
And on that point, who else in your life backs that?
Nobody. No one. You're starving yourself.
Everyone was against it all.
Yeah, everyone. This is not the way to do it. And number one, you're hungry when you're dry fasting, and you're thirsty, and then it brings up all this trauma energy from your past stored energy, and then you have your family and people bringing you food and telling you not to do this, and so you're fighting against all these different elements and suggestions, and you have to just really have trust. And I had trust in you, and you came and you helped me, and you checked on me, and you followed through, and you followed through with your word, and when you said you were going to be there, you were there. You supported me every step of the way, even into getting me the food that I needed prepare me for the fast and prepare me after the fast. You brought the food to me because I couldn't walk. Because I had been fasting for, I fasted for 10 days with water, and then weaned off, and then you suggested only doing the dry fasting, which I really didn't want to do. It was really difficult. Yeah. But then I just jumped both feet into it, and then I dry fasted for 6 days. And then you brought me the juices and the non-karma foods, because in the books by Magenta Pixie.
Yeah, Lessons from Living Lemuria. It talks about nutrition for Ascension. Yeah, yes. Amazing read. Yeah.
So I incorporated those teachings for the non-karma food and the dry fasting, the purest way to purification. Or what is your quote?
Pure fasting, which is also dry fasting. Pure fasting is the fastest way to purity.
And it is. Like, I feel amazing. I mean, I can't even tell you. Like, I have a picture of my hands, and I have a picture before, and like literally, I look like the Incredible Hulk with the veins popping out of my hands. So the relief, the sense of joy, the sense of pleasure that I feel in my body, of having no pain, is unparalleled. Like, you can't, there's no words.
I mean, I'm just absolutely overjoyed with not only your process of the dry fasting, but now including ayahuasca as part of this transformation healing journey for you. And of course, the preparation you've done beforehand is a huge factor to what's happened, but also the way that we administer the dosing, that how careful we are with every single aspect of the ceremonies, which of course you understand from the book, and to see such an incredible transformation during the ceremony, the relief, the joy in front of my eyes when, because it's your first ceremony. My first ceremony was very hard. Our first ceremony was very hard. It's quite normal for that to be the case, but we want to create the best way that we can, a new system, structure, guidance framework, however you want to put it, that makes it as most loving and light and joyous as possible.
Right, traumatized.
Massively succeeded with your ceremony today.
Yeah.
And I know it's just going to be the start for all the other future ceremonies that come. So yeah.
I'm a testimony that your new philosophy and theory and new techniques are working.
Thank you very much.
Yes, for sure.
And it's just the start, Shalom. This is the beautiful thing.
And this is a therapy. So this is just my first ceremony, right?
Yes. 100%. I mean, with ayahuasca, one thing or even other plant spirits like psilocybin mushrooms, a lot of people like to try it once, get the t-shirt, and then they can wave that flag. Yeah, I tried this one. I know what it's about. The reality is, because of the types of circumstances and scenarios in which people will drink ayahuasca in the traditional ways, which I explain in the book, they've served their time energetically. Certain rituals, techniques that are applied, and they make the ceremonies harder than they need to be for people. And what often happens is people have quite a challenging first ceremony or first couple of ceremonies, and oftentimes this is the underlying reason why people choose not to drink and take part again, right? And they actually have a little bit of fear about doing it again, or confusion, so lack of clarity, and they follow that rather than continuing, because also they don't have the right appropriate guidance about understanding how not only to integrate, but to have the high dimensional truth about what's happened to them and how the process works, right? This is what I've tried to help as much as possible in the book Ayahuasca Truth, which I feel does a pretty good job at that. I'm very, very glad. That you've read that and you felt that helped prepare you so well.
Yes.
For this.
And I wanted to read it from the introduction, which really was such a beautiful summary of a collective expression of your personality. Really, your personality shines through that. And with Laura, I just want, from that introduction and your gratitude to your family and your granny and your mother and your father and all of your inspiration, really showed the purity of your heart, which also made me want to finish reading it. And when I sat down, I started reading and I couldn't put it down. I read over half of it the first night, and then the only reason why I put it down was because I just was tired and my eyes were tired. And I got up the next morning and I wanted to finish reading it, and I did.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah.
That's so
and
beautiful.
I'm really grateful.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much.
Eternally.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking forward to sort of giving it the reedit and then publishing it soon. In the next few months. But I'm very, very happy with what's created there, especially now. How that will serve everyone who drinks ayahuasca or takes psilocybin with us in the ceremonies. It's an essential component, actually, of how this process is going to work, and we're going to be successful with our aim of everyone having much more loving, joyous, lighter experiences with faster trauma integration and more permanently levels of expanded consciousness, being more quickly being their future selves and healing to degrees that other people is not normally possible. So yeah, I'm very confident that that's going to continue with everything that we're doing. It's only going to expand and magnify and amplify rather with the growth of LoveLight CommUnity. But yeah, the sort of one point just to finish on is it is often that people try ayahuasca once or twice, and ultimately, whether they can admit it to themselves or not, there is a fear which stops them from doing it again. the reality is there is a lot of potential growth with it, if one is, especially if one is supported with the right environment and with the right truth framework, I would put it. And that's what we're creating here. That's what I've experienced myself. My own guide Dominic experienced to various degrees. Certainly with Lara, my twin flame, she's experienced it deeply, and now we're now doing it with you. We're all co-founders of LoveLight CommUnity, and it's not going to be long before, as I put it to you, the truth of the pudding is in the eating, or rather the proof of the pudding is in the eating. It's all about the experience. So once people start coming and experiencing this with us, be it first-time drinkers or be it experienced drinkers, even the experienced drinkers are going to realize it's different, and it will be different 100% because of all the reasons that I listed in the book. And it's so beautiful that we're getting confirmation now through people's experiences of everything that we've known and trusted. So that's why it's just inordinately beautiful and an absolute blessing for us, Lara and I, to experience this with you today.
Thank you for your coaching. Thank you for your mental preparation. Because when you're trying to do this ascension process, or when you're just trying to get your health back, or when you're just trying to learn and apply different techniques so you can have a more joyful life, or if you're just trying to overcome trauma based on, who knows, could be this life trauma, past life trauma, it could be just from sickness, it could be from abuse, it could be from anything. But you know, when you're talking about the integration process and the elevation process, it's a journey, and you're going to have high times and you're going to have low times. And don't get scared during the low times. You know, that's part of the process, and you're going to go back up, and then you're going to go back down. But you're going to elevate, and it's going to be over time. And that type of mental preparation, when I'm down at the low times, when I'm, you know, when you're sicker than a dog, you know, dying, literally, this is a life and death situation that I'm dealing with, facing every day, mentally, in my heart, in my mind, in my body, just coping with all that at the same time. You, and your words, echo in my ear and in my mind, and your consistency and your compassion and your true, like, just true heart, your pure love for my well-being shines through. It's unequivocal that I've met in my life. So thank you. I don't have the words for it, but thank you.
What beautiful words you did choose. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, so
I feel like I have my life back, but even a better version, like you said, transcended.
that's true. Transform.
Transform.
Yeah. Because the same thing with transcend. It's to ascend is to spiritually evolve with the physical body transforming. To transcend is to leave the physical body behind.
So I still have my physical body.
Spiritual masters in the past, in lower frequency ages, would sometimes transcend. We call transcendence. Yeah, so they would spiritually progress or evolve, but they would have to leave the physical body. The whole process that we're experiencing on the planet at the moment of that being ascension, because the global frequency is much higher, the process that we're all taking part in, to whatever degree, consciously or unconsciously, is one of ascension, which involves a transformation of the body gradually from being more materially dense matter based to
carbon-based, right?
Exactly, more material-based matter, carbon-based, to more crystalline antimatter.
That's what I feel like. Light. I feel light. I feel crystallized. I feel like this.
Yeah. Well, you are, and that's the process. That is the DNA activation. That's how it works. So it's amazing. So look, this is
go on and on.
This is really amazing. We could talk all day, and I don't even. It's just, thank you. Yeah, thank you for your trust. I mean, that's really what I need to say, because you've trusted me since day one,
yes.
And it's been amazing. And today we celebrate an enormous victory.
Yes.
Yeah, together. And Lara, come here as well. With you as well, beautiful camera woman. Okay. So
after ceremony.
So say hi as well. Okay. So and to anyone watching this, all our infinite love to you. And we welcome you to join us.
And Daisy and Cubby too. They were helping with the ceremony.
Okay.
Much love.